So the true power of if statements is using them with variables. So let's create an input form. Let's grab the code from our notes if we forget how to do a form. Let's copy this. And let's paste it in here. Now, this is an input HTML tag. It only does not have a closing tag, only input. And we have a few attributes inside. The type, we want it to be a password field. It can be text, it can be number, but we want to have a password field, so this has to be password. The name, we can give it a name. This, we can name it anything we want, doesn't matter. And the value, we can give it a default value if we want, but I want to leave it empty so that the placeholder will show up. The value will be the value that you type in the password text box, and the placeholder now will be the value that shows in the field when nothing is typed in it. You'll see that in a moment. It can be anything you wish. Enter password, enter. Let's see how this looks. So let's launch this in Chrome. So we see the placeholder is password. It can be anything you choose. So as soon as we start typing, it disappears, and we can type our password inside here. So let's go back to the code. Let's give this an ID, and we can give it an ID of any name we want. Let's say pass, and we're giving an ID so that we can access it with JavaScript. So we'll use our function document.get element by ID, and in this, between these brackets, in quotes, will go the ID that we've named up here, pass, because this is the element we're trying to grab, and we want to grab the value. So we will have dot value, and when we type that, we want to store that value var maybe pass equal password equals that value that we've typed in there, the password we've entered. Then in our if statement, we want to say if pass w is equals to, it can be any password you want. I'm going to use my name, Sanjay. I want to alert password is valid. And then we want to have a button. So let's have button. Let's say submit. Let's call it submit password. And then we want to have the onClick event in here, which will run whatever JavaScript we put in quotes here when we click this button. Now, in a later video I'll show you how to use functions, but for now, this is bad practice. We'll copy this, we'll cut it actually, and we'll paste it in here. And this is bad practice again, it's untidy. And one thing we should note, these quotes here are double, and it will be mixed up with these quotes for the attribute value. This attribute value has to have a string. So if we have these double quotes here, it'll mix it up. So what we need to do is use single quotes on the outside here. And just to make it a little neater, remember spacing in HTML it does not matter. What we have here, we have a button, we have onClick with this string. This is which contains JavaScript, and we can know it by highlighting how the code highlights that the strings don't conflict. The quotes, sorry. And that will work. Let's save that and let's launch it in Chrome. So now we have this form. Let's enter an invalid password. Just submit, nothing happens. Let's type my name, Sanjay, submit. Now it's alerts password is valid. Okay. Now if statements come in different flavors. This if statement will execute this statement if this is true. Else, if it's false, this will be skipped and code after the if statement will execute normally. Now, if we wanted to have multiple conditions or multiple checks, we could have else if, and we can have our condition. And we can have as many of these conditions as we want to check for. So I could say else if password is equal to easy, and we use the curly brackets. I can have alert guest level access, and I can stop here. So if, and this will work fine. So let's see how that works in Chrome. So reload. If I enter Sanjay, it says password is valid. If I enter easy, guest level access. And if I enter anything else other than Sanjay or easy, it does nothing. Both conditions are skipped. Again, I can have else if and have more password checks. But if I wanted if all else fails, if both of these conditions fail, I can just have else, and then I can put alert password is not valid, and I can save that and reload. So if I enter anything else, gibberish, submit, password is not valid.